This is how you know God is in control and he got a plan. And that he talks through people. My older brother, John, who I told you I has cancer, when this dude was verbally abusing my mama, domestically abusing my mama, John always said, when Brian gets big and turns 16, he's gonna whoop your ass and blah, 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 blah. So 2001, I'm 15. I'll be 16 August 18th. August 16th, 2001. He went on one of his little weekend things. He came back. Mama told him to leave. Village Green is where I spent a lot of my childhood at. I was born in Menorah Hospital.
Me too.
Right there on 49th, 50th and Truce, across the street from Kuykendall. And I was, brought a few blocks over by the way where Village Green was. Now it's called Plaza East, I guess. But man, it's always gonna be Village Green to me. And that's why I learned a lot of I'm not a street nigga, but I'm from the streets. But I'm not a street guy at all. I'm the furthest thing from it. You know what I'm saying? But I do know what goes on. And did I grow up in that environment? Yes. It was in my mother's house. Growing up, it was a circumstance where it was a dude in the house, and I recall one time, and I'm gonna put this in my book. This is about a 20-year project for my book, so I ain't trying to drop that now. But I saw somebody smoking crack in my mama's basement. You know what I'm saying? And I seen my mama get drugged across the street. I've seen a lot in Village Green, but I also witnessed a lot of good times too, a lot of good memories with my brother and my mama, knowing that we could survive, knowing that, thanks to cable TV, mama always kept the cable on. That was one thing she was gonna do.
The illegal cable?
Yeah, it was legal. It was legal schmeagle, But, watching Def Comedy Jam, growing up, Yo on TV Raps, Video Soul, with my mama and my brother there, it was, them times was priceless. And all the friends I had, my dog Darnell, who I'm still cool with to this day. Just all the fellas that I grew up. Jason, R.I.P. I don't think he's no longer here with us. Who's from Village Green. Calvin, my dog Calvin, who always read Village Green. Just all the friends I made, all the lessons I learned in that area. It's that part of my life was so special. Just growing up. And I know, man, like the 90s is like how the 70s was when we was growing up. Like people like love the 70s and the 90s, but now the 90s is like, they look at it as the golden era. And I can understand why, because it was fun as a kid in that time. It really was. It was going outside, riding bikes in Village Green. Oh, one story I do got about Village Green that's not a good one. And it was the summer of 94, I think, or maybe it was the summer of 95. I got my bike jack. Mm-hmm. I had my bike jack twice. One time I was like 7, and somebody got me with a BB gun. And yeah, they shot at me. He's like, hey, can I borrow your bike? My dumb ass like, all right, we just go around the block real quick. Like, all right, here you go.
Man. You can't say you're dumb.
I know. Well, I know. Yeah, I know. But
I'm just saying because I didn't got jacked a few times for cigarettes. Because, at that age, we could go to the store and get cigarettes for
sure.
In that area you was in?
Tony's Liquors.
Yeah, because my grandma, we were raised on 39th and 40th in Florida. We go to 39th to Soloski's up there. Yeah. Nothing but bloods and all of that. So in that area, bro, you giving that up. Don't try to be tough.
There's a lot of bloods over there. And but the later one, though, the one I'm referring to now, I was 9. And, man, we was riding in Brush Creek. And had no business in that Brush Creek. Down, like I'm talking about down in the creek, and these four dudes. I was 9. Darnell was probably like 11, and I think we had a couple more dudes with us around 10 or 9 or whatever. And these dudes, they had to be about 14, 15. Came up on us. Hey, what's up? What y'all doing? And we up here going along with it. Hey, we just riding. Blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing I know, dude slam his bike down. Give me your bike, punk. Because he had pulled out a knife. So we had to give up the goods.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, if you ain't, in that scene, if you ain't equipped correct, or ready to handle business as such, then you just got to do what you got to do. But still, though, I just take those as life lessons of God teaching me certain things at a certain age to learn how to survive, to know how to look out for certain things. Because I tell you what, from that point on, it didn't happen again. So not that I was strapped in none of that. It's just that I know how to look for certain things and know users when you see them. You know what I'm saying? Know people who got a different MO. You can read that out. Your soul can tell you that. So that's just a part of that learning process. But that video though, the one that is special that you pointed that one out, because that one's probably my favorite one, because I had been coveting that video to see that area for so long, because it looks so different now. Over there used to be a United Super grocery store. It was the Tony's Liquors I just talked about. Jay's Pawn Shop was right across the way. You'll see that in the video where we got hella Super Nintendo games at. Bunny's Beauty Supply was down there. The Osco Drug was around there. My brother worked at the Burger King. It was a Dairy Queen, a Taco Bell. It was a Checkers right there by the Dairy Queen.
What was Checkers before? Was it Hot Now or Zip or something like
Zips.
that? Zips. Did it go to Hot Now and then Checkers? Or
nah, it was Zips. And then I just read up on this because I'm telling you, I've been on the hunt for these videos, dog. And so Zips, the people who own Checkers and Rallies, they bought Zips and turned them into Checkers and Rallies.
Right.
So yeah. So all the Zips, it was like 3 or 4 Zips in Kansas City, like late 80s, early 90s. And then it got flipped into Checkers. Man, we missed that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Godly. Yeah. But yeah, man, and then the Piggly Wiggly was right there, So that area looks so different. And the old gates. That's the thing that I wanted to see probably the most besides the United Super grocery store is that gates. Because it used to be on the left side. If you going south on Paseo, the gates used to be on the left side and the east side and not the west side of Paseo. So I don't know, man. I just been dying to see the Hypermart video. I had been dying to see that, to see the inside of Hypermart and what Bannister Road and Bannister Mall used to look like. All that stuff is from the early '90s, man. And that era is golden. It really is, man. We had a time.
Man, I try not to be on good old days type.
It was some bad shit though.
Yeah,
it was some bad shit.
Yeah.
Like I just said, around Village Green with my personal stuff, with my mom and stuff. But then, of course, crackheads. That was in the middle of the crack epidemic, and crack hit Kansas City hard. That shit hit us hard, bro. Especially around that way. It ain't no. It's no surprise to come home and see your TV taken, or to see the PlayStation being pawned, or whatever. And my father, lived through abuse. He was a great man, but he had some flaws. And look, man, we had to do what we had to do, dog. That's just how I see it. I wish I hadn't lived through some of those times, and then some of those times I was going through that in Northeast too. In high school in the early 2000s, it was a time where my daddy had just left and went to Vegas. This was my first year in Northeast, at my sophomore year, and then to add on top of that, Precious Doe got announced. Remember Precious Doe? That was on 59th and Kensington. And at the time I was living on 59th and Spruce, one block over. So we probably play with the little girl because me and my brother was all outside playing football. So yeah, I don't want to paint a picture of the '90s and the early 2000s, make it seem like it was all horseshoes because and rainbows and all this other stuff, because it definitely wasn't. It was a very, very dark side in that era too.
Yeah, I get it. And the only reason I was saying that is because, a lot of us say the good old days to where it takes away from what we live in now. And because I usually catch myself saying, man, I just wish I can go back to the good old days or whatever. But damn, what you going to do now? You're still living.
Yeah.
You're still being, that's the only reason I say I hate saying that to myself. You didn't say it. I was just saying it to myself. But going back to your in the house, though, if you don't mind, how old is your brother?
My brother was 10 years older than me.
10 years older.
So now he's 47. And man, my brother is a story in itself. My older brother, John. He had cancer when he was 12, March 9th of 1988. He had a brain tumor. And it totally changed the trajectory of his life. It flipped just everything. He was just a normal kid at the time. And now, and he was, for the most part, normal after his cancer, but there were certain things he couldn't do. Like his equilibrium was kind of off. Like he can't really see all the way straight. He can see good enough to where he knows what's going on, and he can, play Nintendo and, see and eat his food and do all this other stuff, but he can't drive, and he couldn't do that. But he always held a job down and, graduated high school, did some college. But then he had a mild stroke in 2013. Man, one time, this was after Northeast. This was my freshman year of college. This is the 20-year anniversary of this. Now I'm just now realizing this. My brother John, he had just went brain dead. Like he was just a vegetable. And he was at work and I guess he fainted. So they sent him home. And then I think he was found fainted at the bus stop or something. He eventually made his way home. We didn't know none of this till he got home. He gets home and he's just out of it, just totally just sleeping and just out of it. That next day, this was around like New Year's Eve 2003, going into 2004. The next day, John, we knew something was just totally wrong with him because he wasn't himself. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't responding. And so me and my little brother, Jared, we had to put him in a bathtub, clean him up, and get him to the emergency room, see what's going on. Well, from his brain tumor that he had these shunts in his head that attached to his brain. Just think of some vacuum hose attached to your brain that sends all the information to your body. So these shunts were loose. They were not attached to his brain. And so they had to go in and reattach them. So, my brother, man, he has been through a lot. All the stuff that I went through and the stuff that he went through personally. My brother was always my inspiration growing up. None of these niggas on TV, none of these rappers, none of these superstars. I had my inspiration in my house, who I saw every day. Try to go, get up, be a normal human being, do what he do. And he did it. And if he did it, I'm like, the hell are you sitting down for? What are you sitting down for? It's time to go to work, dog. So, John, from the bottom of my heart, you know this. Thank you.
Thank you. That's deep. And the real deep thing about it is, like, you shout out the homie
Soraya Brown.
Soraya Brown.
Man, my dog.
Girl.
Always loved
her. Like you, was going through so much. I had her on the platform going through so much in school that we would have never knew by the way y'all come in school. Because there has not been one time I can remember when we was in school that you seemed down, that you wasn't goofing around or whatever. Same thing with her. Same thing with her. And I think a lot always gets talked, not to take away from the person who's going through the actual thing. A lot get talked about the person who's going through the actual pain or whatever they're going through, the abuse or whatever. But the people who are there who have to help them through it or take that burden on themselves too, because it weighs heavy on them too. We never really know how they feel because they feel like they gotta keep that all in. Who am I to complain about this?
Man, for real. And I got more. That's just a service, because I know the story is kind of convoluted right now, because I'm talking about my daddy and then my mom, because I lived in 2 different houses.
Yes, sir.
So from when I was born until 90, it was January 95, I lived with my mother. It was in January 95 when I was at Boker Elementary. I was in the 4th grade.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was in the 4th grade. And this dude, he had a heart problem, a heart issue or something. He was special. And he talked about my mama this particular day. And I wasn't playing around this day. So I pushed him down the stairs. It was a long flight of stairs. Steel stairs, an old steel Casey, Missouri School District stairs, and I got suspended for 3 days in elementary school, and I moved to my daddy's house from that point on. For the next 6 years, I should say, on and off. So that changed my life. Moving to my daddy's house, because my mother, she's sweet, she's nice. She don't know what to do with a black kid. If I was any other kid, I just would have ran my mother over.
So your mom's Caucasian.
Oh yeah, mama's white. She's so unassuming, and she always let me have my space, and she let me be me, and I appreciate her for that. But I needed some discipline. Bad. Like I needed my daddy. Bad. So my daddy called the school, or they called him. He said, all right, Brian, no more Nintendo, no more, you moving with me. So, like Trey on Boys in the Hood.
Ooh,
Moved in with my daddy. And it was him and my stepmama that changed. It was my second mother, man, just, I don't know what the hell I would be if it wasn't for that lady. Golly. But that was a life-changing experience. And then from 95, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade is when I was living with them. And then what we just talked about with the Precious Dough situation, I told you my daddy had moved to Vegas. He had just went to Vegas because he was going through a lot of things. I'll detail that in the book, but just know he was going through a lot of things. And he just up and went to Vegas. We didn't know where he was for like a whole week. And then we got a letter in the mail from him. So, I was going through all that through school at Northeast. And remember the person who I said was smoking crack in my mother's basement?
Yes, sir.
He's still living with my mother, by the way. And now we're in 2001, February 2001, and I'm moving back in with my mama in this situation. He ain't on crack now or nothing like that, but he's still like taking my mom. Or maybe he was, I don't know, because he was taking my mama's car, for the weekend and going to Kansas and not showing up until Sunday night and all this other shit. So going through all that, but God is just. This is how you know God is in control and He got a plan, and that He talks through people. My older brother, John, who I told you I has cancer, when this dude was verbally abusing my mama, domestically abusing my mama, John always said, when Brian gets big and turns 16, he's going to whoop your ass and blah, 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 blah. So, 2001, I'm 15. I'll be 16 August 18th. August 16th, 2001, He went on his one of his little weekend things. He came back. Mama told him to leave after another epic yelling session between them two. That I experienced that most of my weekends growing up. He left and never came back. I ain't seen that man since August 16, 2001. And I think that's for a reason. Because regardless of the healing that I actually haven't had any healing from that. So God knows what He's doing by taking that person away from our situation. And man, junior year of high school was the best year ever. Golly, we can do a whole pod on that year. 2001, 2002 at Northeast was the greatest, bro. It was. I love that year. Man, I was in a couple classes with you. You know, we always had a good time. We always, clown around.
Science or something. I forgot what it was.
You know, but me, we just talked about the off camera. We was talking about we was passing around the raps. You know, we was kind of doing the beef thing. The beef thing was hot in hip hop with Jay-Z versus Nas. That was Ether versus Takeover, and it was a whole bunch. Ja Rule and 50 the next year. It just that era when we was passing those things out. It was just nobody ever took them things personal. We all was cool. Nobody got into it. I don't think nobody got in a fight. I don't think nobody got in an argument or none of that. Let alone getting shot at any of that stupid shit. But we always kept it. We kept it on paper, not on wax, because we ain't had no recording equipment. But also 2001, man. 2001 was a monumental year for me, and because 9/11 was so terrible, and that kind of soured. Not kind of, it did. It soured that year a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot of it. But with that being said, that's when I got my first computer in the house. Mama got a computer, and I was able to download music. And if you remember, I was passing out CDs. Now, Usher's video, you don't have to call. He got these white ass shoes on, and I always love white shoes, like John Witherspoon, like Pops. But I'm like, damn, them shits look fly. I want some of them shits. I sold. Look at the white shoes. Look at the white. I didn't think he was gonna. I wanted to pull that out. I didn't think he was gonna get it. But I should know who I was talking to. But so I had sold enough CDs around school. Because you remember, I was a CD man at Northeast, $5 a pop. I had to download the music on Windows Max, and I'm getting all this music, and I saved enough money to buy the Kobe boots, the space boots. Remember? You know how many arguments I got over Kobe in high school?
Wasn't with me.
Oh man, I used to argue every class about Kobe in high school because y'all thought he was soft. Maybe not you. But
a lot of people will know me or fight you for saying that right there.
Who was y'all feeling? There was a lot of people like Allen Iverson.
Frank the Clue and all of them was Iverson.
Yeah.
And nothing against Iverson.
Yeah. He ain't go. So yeah, man, that 2001 year, it was special.
Because who was they mentioning when they were shooting in the trash can?
Kobe, come on now.
That's it. Go ahead.
Come on now.
Go ahead, do your thing. Cause we're gonna tap on that though.
Oh man, a life changer, man. A life changer, Kobe Bryant, for real. Him dying, dog, it changed my life. It did. Not my life. I shouldn't be that extreme. It changed my way of thinking. It did. It got the laziness up out of me. Because I was a little lazy, at that time. Now I'm not lazy at all. I can sit here and say I am not lazy. I can be lazy, but I'm not. And dog, Kobe was just here. Why is he gone? Kobe is gone. That's what I said to myself when I woke up. What was that? That was January 26, 2020. I woke up and Kobe is gone. Like, what? I just felt like he wasn't supposed to leave. But again, you tell God your plan, he ain't gonna do nothing but laugh at your ass. And so I knew then that look, man, we got one life to live. It's one thing to say it, but it's like, it was just ingrained in my mind, bro. We got one life to live. Do something now while you can. Have you ever been injured? Like, you ever had like a sports injury?
Ankle in sports.
Have you ever had an injury where you didn't play in a game or you couldn't practice?
I'm not. I was a spectator.
So
Water boy.
Don't call yourself a water boy.
No, I didn't mind it. I got to go to the games for free.
So look, man, I remember I had messed my knee up. And I'm like, man, I tried to do everything I can to try to get my knee back and try and get back on the football field because like I fucking miss being on the field. Like, dog, I can't take this, dog. And it's like, damn, I wish if I had my knee together, I'd do this, that, the third. I would do, I'll get up and do. Blah, 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 blah. That's the mindset I took on, like, just equating that to the injury and just not having the opportunity to not do something. I don't want to sit here and look back on time and be like, damn, I wish I could have did this. Damn, I wish I should have did this. I wish I could have did this. I wish I could have got, and it's all from getting my ass up and doing it. Not because I regret something. It's all because of me not getting up and taking advantage of my health while I got it. Me ain't gonna be healthy forever. And that's like, man, look, I don't take that for granted. I need to be better with it. But man, compared to where I was before the pandemic and before Kobe died, man, it's a new mindset. So that's just one of many things. Probably the most important thing that man means to me, other than him being, a legendary Laker.
Shout out to Mark's my barber because he shares the Kobe. And, he got 8 and 24 on him.
Got to.
It's fire.
Got to.
And you said, not until now did I have revelation. Did I realize something? Because I was of the same mindset of you. Kobe is here. He's gone type stuff. But as soon as you said that, it triggered the thought in me like, no, he's not gone.
No, he's not.
And he did everything he was supposed to do while he was here. That's why he's not gone. Right. We remember his name forever. And then you connect that with Mamba mentality. And it's crazy how God works. Because I know you're a Kobe fan too. And that's one thing I wanted to talk to you about if I didn't have anything else on my mind besides the card, the videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Mamba mentality. And you went right into it. And when Kobe died, that hit something in me too, man. I was doing this other podcast called Save It for the Podcast with my brothers. And I remember when that happened, we got on there. We probably took a week to get on there and talk about it. I couldn't do nothing but cry. Like while my boy was trying to get me to talk about it, I couldn't do nothing but cry because I felt like I lost a big brother. Mm-hmm. But actually, I gained more of a push. Mm-hmm. I gained more wisdom. Mm-hmm. I gained more of the Mamba mentality. Because it was him and Nipsey too. Because it's like, what do people say about you once you leave here? Mm-hmm. What are your kids going to say? What is your wife going to say?
Look, that more than ever now, with these videos being left, like these videos ain't going nowhere. Like, so that's why I'm real careful, dog, with and I try to live my life as I speak. Like when I'm on my show on the radio and I'm trying to encourage people, trying to motivate people, trying to tell them to put God first. God gotta, like, I mean that. I mean that because I'm trying to live that too. So I'm really talking to myself when I talk to you. Honestly, to be honest with you. And so these videos, these messages, all of this media is going to stick around, especially if you say something powerful. Now, it could be great power or it could be some ignorance. That's up to you to make the choice. And that's why, man, look, we got to live carefully now. Everything is recorded. If you think everything is recorded now, What you think everything gonna look like in 10 years, bro? Like literally everything is going to be recorded. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be like I ain't never seen the Truman Show, but I've heard of it, and I guess they record his life or whatever. You see his life on TV. And man, look, man, we changed, dog. I did some dumb shit when I was 20 that led me to going to jail for the first time and the only time in my life. Like I wasn't like doing time. I don't want to fabricate it out. I was just in the hold cell for some bullshit. But still, I mean, but going through that, dog, like that scared me enough in itself. But if they had that on video, I mean, getting handcuffed, walking out of Home Depot when I was 20 years old, I'm 37 now. And it's like, or would people's opinion change about me, like from then to now? So like I look at let's look at Sukiyama. All right, this young lady, and look, man, I ain't hating on this young lady at all. Everybody has their journey. Right now, she's in a space of her entertainment and what she does. And she has her audience, and it is what it is with that. She does what she does. If you don't know who Sukiyama is, she's a hip-hop star who's extremely explicit. We'll just leave it at that. Video and audio. And so that young lady, I think she's only like 22 years old. Who knows what the hell she's going to be at 42? She could be
president.
I ain't gonna say that. Who knows? Maybe she's a pastor. Maybe she's perfect. Pastor. Perfect. Yeah. Maybe she has transitioned her life into being a pastor. Mm-hmm. And it's like, first off, if that is a part of her journey, that could be something that could change the lives of many people. Like you can go from one extreme to the other. So, and I don't mean the extreme in pastoring as it being a negative thing. I mean that she's going to the other side of the line where, she was. And so I say that to say that with everything being recorded, with your legacy being recorded, what are we going to leave? What, like you just said it, man. And I honestly try to live by that. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a human being, bro, and I am still growing. And God is still trying to guide me. So I'm going to have mishaps every now and then, maybe. I remember in 2016, I got in trouble for talking about breastfeeding on the morning show. Like, because I thought it was, at the time, I thought, like, why are you doing that in front of everybody? Like that. I ain't never been around babies like that. The only baby I was around was my nephew, Marcel. Other than that, I haven't been around any of that. And there was a lot of mothers who didn't like my comments. I'm like, go in the bathroom. What are y'all doing that? Like, I didn't know, bro. And I had to come and apologize for that. So, like, we don't know where people gonna go, man. We don't know where you're gonna be, what you're gonna be doing, what your mindset is, where God leads you. You could be where you are right now, and could be totally somewhere else in just a few years. It ain't even gotta be 20 years. It could be 5 years. It could be 10 years. 2 months. We don't know, bro. We got this free will. What you gonna do with it until God comes along and gives you a choice? And then what you gonna do with that choice? You gonna live with God? You gonna live without God? So, legacy is important.
I think it's important what you did, though. You came on and apologized, but at the same time, we have to learn to not just speak on things before we try to get some information about it. But those other people on the other side got to learn to bear with the person who just don't know.
Oh man, that's what love come in. Love. My wife, she says it all the time. Love is patient. Love is kind. And just giving people a little grace. Mm-hmm. Man, it can go a long way, bro. It really can. A little patience, a little grace. It really can. Like, we can't always expect for people to, I guess, live by our needs, and sometimes some of us can come off a little selfish, but just offer a little grace. It really can extend a hand that may be needed. You know what I'm saying?
We're both in media,
Mm-hmm.
but you're more. You are pop culture basically. Which on my platform, any platform I own, I don't want to have a public opinion on somebody because if we off the mic all day, let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
On the mic, I don't want to have a public opinion about somebody because I don't. With everything going viral now, you never know that if it's your comment to go viral, and I hate to send somebody over the edge, but you, how hard is it for you to like? Because I know it's got to be some stuff you just don't want to talk about.
Oh yeah,
that you had to not to really talk about radio, but to just your mindset, the integrity, or just going into it. Like, bro, I don't want to talk about. Do you feel like you at the point where you've made your name and you can just? I don't have to talk about that, and I won't, or it's still a thing you.
Well, with me, my approach is to super serve our audience.
Okay.
And when you're talking to a large amount of people, not a few people on the pod whose views probably align with your views,
Mm-hmm.
but when you're talking to the masses, to me, to Brian, in my opinion, I just try to take all of that into consideration. But then I gotta keep it real. I can't do it no other way. I can't fabricate it or nothing. So when I do talk about reparations for Black Kansas Cityans, that's something I do want to talk about, like on air, because I want people to get the message. I want people to get the opportunity. I want people to get the tools and the resources available. But I have to say, like, it's for Black Kansas Cityans. We deserve it. Period. Or for Black people, period. Not just Kansas Cityans, but in San Francisco. For what we did, dog, it just makes sense based on y'all done gave them before. So we built the country, but we can't get reparations. That's a whole nother, conversation in itself. But like I was saying, those are things that I have to talk about to super serve my audience. We just did a 12-hour call to action broadcast with the ad hoc group against crime on Friday. And basically, the murders is out of control in the city. The gun violence is out of control in the city. The violence, period, is out of control. We are past 100 murders, and we just got done with half the year. So we only 200 murders. And those shows are tough, but so necessary. So necessary, especially with the legacy of 103 and what we have labeled ourselves as, what we have worked ourselves as, being a station of the community and trying to have the best interest for Kansas Cityans. And so those shows are tough. They are. Mm-hmm. Because I had to talk to the victims of families who had their loved ones murdered, and their murders are still unsolved. And there's a certain tone, there's a certain emotion that you got to have going into those interviews, because you just want to, I just want to approach it as delicately as possible, but still get to the facts. But to me, I have to first respect the family and their feelings. I always want to do that. But that's my philosophy, dog. Something that would be hard to talk about for me would be something that I don't understand, or something that I'm just not interested in, like Kim Kardashian. Like, that's somebody who I don't want to talk about for what. But whatever it takes to win.
Yeah. When it comes to, because you're a man of God, but you probably weren't always so strong in God as you are.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
What was that huge coming to God?
Oh, man. Oh my buddy, the pandemic, dog. When you in my life, when like hopefully 40 years or whatever, when we look back and I'm still alive, hopefully through God's graces, we're gonna look before pandemic and after pandemic. Because before pandemic, Brian, I had always obeyed God and I had always believed in God. I didn't know how to listen to God. I was walking around like I guess my spirit was here, but I wasn't feeding it or I wasn't listening to it. And it's everything is different now. And I used to not make fun of people, because I didn't make fun of people who were spiritual, but I guess I didn't understand how people could rely on spirits alone to make a decision for them. I never understood it. It didn't make sense to me. Do what you need to do. Okay, cool. But man, after the pandemic, and there was a situation where I was cleaning my mother's house, and I found this letter that I had never read. I had never heard of this letter before. And a part of my story is I only knew one person from my mother's family, and that was my mama. I had never met anybody, talked to anybody else, ever. They're from Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia area. And I had never known them, anything. So I grew up a black child. Went to black schools, black churches, black music, black culture. I lived in the hood. I was a black kid. I'm a black man. And I found this letter. And my mother's parents, when my mother got pregnant in college with my older brother, we talking 1975, they expelled my father because he was black, and they almost didn't let my mother graduate because she got pregnant by him, by my father, black man. And my mother's parents put my older brother for 2 years in a home they put him in foster care, and they put my mother in a home for unwed mothers.
This is John.
My older brother, John, yes. He was in foster care for the first 2 years of his life because of my grandparents, because they told my mother to don't, it was my mother. It was my mother's mother who told her never bring that child on my doorstep. Now, to my understanding, my mother's father was accepting and he was cool with us. But yeah, okay. So my mother had to work hard for 2 years to try to establish, that she can take care of a child. And so found this letter. She said, "You don't have to condone my lifestyle, but don't condemn it. My dream is about to come true. I'm about to have a baby." And it's a lot in this letter, man. But basically that's it. I'm having this baby. I'm going to work hard, and we're going to live in Kansas City. And it is what it is. And that was my mother's dream. That was her only dream. She didn't want to be a superstar. She didn't want to be a model. She didn't want to be president. She wanted to be a mother. Mm-hmm. And that letter confirmed that. She always had said that throughout my life. I didn't believe it. I thought she was just jibber jabber. Like, that's what mothers say. But that letter, finding that, and then that led to me finding my wife. I had already found my wife. I didn't commit to her. We were off at the time, but that situation with my mother directly related to me finding my wife. And ever since I've been following my spirit, I ain't been losing. Nothing comes first without me talking to my spirit. If it don't sit right within me, I'm not doing it. It ain't nothing you can do to make me do it. Because I know that's what God telling me what to do. And bro, in this world, and this is what really happened during the pandemic, all that crazy shit you saw on videos, people going crazy, people's mindsets are changing, people are attacking Black people, and now, look what the Supreme Court is doing. We don't have control. That's the biggest lesson I learned. And this is how I found God, found my spirit, because I knew God, but this is how I found to follow my spirit. We don't have control. We got control of our actions, and we got control to a certain extent of what we do out here because we have free will. But ultimately, you might get a few wins here and there. You might get to cheat the system a little bit here and there. But fam, in a year, in 2 years, you think that's gonna last? No, because God got control. There's a bigger play at hand. It is. Just think back on your life, dog. All the little bullshit that you used to do or you used to get or whatever. And this applies to everybody. Let's think about that. Oh, you cheated the system here. You cheated it there. You got here. You got your, okay, you think you winning, huh? Yeah. Baby come. Baby number 2 come. Damn, all that cheating and shit, all that. I can't rob no more, man. I can't, I got babies now. I need, it's a bigger play, man. And now all of a sudden, now you're reformed 10 years, 12 years later, because you see this little kid looking at you, this boy or girl. Now you done reformed your life. Look at you. Now you're vice president of, such and such company, or you're an entrepreneur. You're doing this, you're doing that. People can change, dog. Just follow your spirit, though. That's people going crazy and stuff. We don't have control, man. We don't have control. Only thing we have to rely on. That's what, it was almost a plea of insanity for me. It's like, damn, I don't have nothing to rely on. What the hell do I have? I got to keep my sanity. I need something to make sense. God got control of all of this. He does, dog. And whether we're all gonna come. This is what I believe. We are gonna come to that day where you're gonna find out. So, and I'm willing to die like that. I'm willing to die knowing that. Look, I done served God. I done followed you. I'm following you to eternity.
Yeah.
Wherever, if that's 5 years from now, all right, whatever. If it's 1 trillion years from now, I don't know. That's just what I'm gonna die doing.
What's that saying? I'd rather serve God and be condemned with the world than to serve the world and be condemned by God.
Amen. We got to live for life after earth, not life on earth.
Yeah.
This ain't shit.
Yeah.
Life after earth, though, I ain't gonna say I can't wait for that because I got a lot of things I want to do here. It's a purpose, and through all that, I found my purpose too. That's something important. You got to find your purpose. You got to.
Talk to me.
And my purpose, I think I have a couple of them. But one in particular that I want to speak on is our young Black boys and homelessness. I think that's another one that's another one of my purposes that I want to tackle one day, hopefully. But our young Black men, this is why I coach football. Y'all know me. Y'all know I love football. And I've always had a passion to coach it. I cried after our last game in Northeast. I cried on the bus. I did, because I knew that was the last time I was going to play football for real. I played in the semi-pros in 2016, but that was short-lived, though. I didn't have time for that. I was busy. But man, football is something that is an outreach that my father used and that I use now for I guess connectivity, because I don't want to say I'm anybody's father figure, but just to have some type of positive male influence, man. These kids need it now more than ever. We need men. We need women. We need everybody. But we need men, though. We need some more men. And I think that whatever you do, and this is me in football, it could be basketball for you. It could be karate. It could be building, construction houses. I don't know what it could be. But whatever your passion is, though, if you're not reaching back out to some of these kids, it ain't got to be a bunch. Live in some of them, teach them a trade. Teach them, and then teach them big homie stuff along the way. Like how to treat women in certain situations, tying a tie, ironing your suit, whatever. Life skills. Bring somebody with you. So that's just what football means to me, and that's what I use to try and reach our community. And I don't feel like I'm doing nothing spectacular or anything that deserves claps or applause or anything like that. I'm just playing my role. And if we all play our role, ain't no telling where we could be. Can you imagine if it was 40 LeBron James academies around the United States instead of it? And I love what LeBron's doing. I wish it was just more of them. And I'm not blaming him or nothing like that. But I'm just saying to my point, if everybody played their part and do what they need to do, and we could spread this info, we could spread knowledge, we could spread awareness, we could spread what it means to have character, what it means to have discipline, what it means to build and continue under resiliency, under adversity. We're just trying to build some good soldiers out here, man. And I feel like that's what I do through football. And it's so important because a lot of these kids, they don't have it, man. They literally never see sometimes a positive black male role model in their lives. And the only time it may be only with me for that day. It may be their uncle the next day or their grandfather, a couple of days from now. But they need that every day, fam. Mm-hmm. And I try to get it to them whenever I can. And through football, I'm able to do that. And I'm blessed. I'm super blessed. And I'm thankful for all of my kids. I love y'all. Y'all know I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. Like, I treat them like they're mine. I don't have kids yet. And so these boys are, I treat them like they're mine. When they on the field, they are mine. And my parents, thank you to my parents, my parents and my kids, because they trust me and they allow me to do that. Matter of fact, they want me to do, make sure you stay on them, Brian. Get on them hard, all right? Because they know they need that, dog. Mm-hmm. Through all the pain and all the discipline that my daddy did with me. Because if you know, like, bro, in Northeast, I didn't go nowhere. I was going to school and I went home. I went to the movies every now and then, maybe with, like, at the time, Beverly was my girlfriend in high school. We would go to the movies. What you laughing for? Shouts to Beverly, man.
I wanted to shout her out, but I didn't want to be out of place.
Nah, man. But other than that, I didn't do nothing, dog. So, my father, man, through all of that, I thank him for every disciplinary action that I ever received. Because if I didn't receive it, I don't know what the hell I would have did, dog.
Right. That's funny how that come right back around. Mm-hmm. Your father, and we talk about these kids not having their fathers in their lives, and I talk to a lot of people on this pod who hadn't had a father in their life, and they always talk about what came of that. But you had your father in your life, and then he just left. It was snatched from you. That's a different feeling. Not to take away from never having your father, but also having somebody you love so dearly, and you get used to a system that they run, and then they put these certain things in your head that you need to do or you should do, and then they snatch themselves away from you. Not that he was taken away from you. He left.
Man, to be honest, so remember earlier I told you the first 10 years of my life at Village Green or whatever, I was at my mama's house and the dude was there or whatever. And during that time, I didn't really have a relationship with my pops. Okay. I saw him on holidays. I knew who he was.
kind of makes it
I
worse.
didn't spend a lot of time with him before it was the summer of '93. And I think my second mother was the one who was like, Big John, you need to spend, Brian is getting older, you need to spend time with him or whatever. And because I was out of control, bro. My initials is BAB. Back then it stood for Badass Brian.
Mm-hmm.
I was a bad kid, bro. Up until the situation happened where I pushed the boy downstairs. I had to move to my daddy's house when I was 9. But it was those years were so crucial from 95 up until 2006 when he died. Those years. I don't know what I would have did if it wasn't for them 11 crucial years that I had with him. And I had other years with him, before then, but those years were it was intense teaching going on. Intense. And it was probably because of him. Maybe he felt a little guilty on himself, why he needed damn, what? I need to get this shit together right now. So he kind of he needed to whip me together shape. And very quickly. But he did though, because I remember this is one of the first times one of the few times where I really made my daddy proud was when I made honor roll after moving into his house. I made honor roll, bro. The last quarter of my 4th grade year. And he was generally shocked and just proud, dog. Ain't no feeling like that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't none.
Came over here and you made honor roll.
Man, made honor roll, dog. From where I was terrible, dog. So, those 11 years with my pops, and then in 2006, the story, man, don't make me get on that story, bro.
I mean, if you want to, if you don't.
Yeah, nah. So this is another life-changing situation. We'll go back to 2005. I'm getting suspended from college at Northwest Missouri State because I wasn't making the grades. And I was just messing around, not going to class, fucking off, just being lazy, capital L lazy. Back then, that Brian, super lazy. And I just wasn't going to class and getting it done. So got academically suspended. And in April and May 2005, this is one of the last real conversations I had with my daddy. I told him, look, I'm about to get suspended. This was going to happen. I already committed to my roommate at Northwest, so I'm going to go back up there. I'm going to just work a job for the winter's semester, for the fall semester, and then get back into college, get financial aid and all that for the spring semester.
This is lazy, Brian. Saying that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is after I got suspended and I'm talking to my daddy in the summer, or not summer, in the spring, April, May 2005. He's like, we was outside barbecuing. He's like, okay, all right, that's cool. All right. Well, I'm glad you got a plan, and I just want to thank you for telling me this.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was going to have to hear some shit, get in trouble or whatever, but I think that point was when I had passed the test with him and God, I think, because I was honest. And I felt good about it too. I was like, man, I got to tell him. You know what I'm saying? And it was easy to tell him. It was easy. I didn't lie to him, kept it real with him. So that summer, get a job at Home Depot. Remember I mentioned Home Depot earlier? Mm-hmm. Remember that? Got a job at Home Depot, summer of 2005. I'm working it, and I tell them when my last day was, which was August 21st or 22nd. It was a Tuesday of 2005. I remember it so vividly because my birthday is August 18th. And it was and I'll get to how I remember it a little later on too. So I tell them when my last day was, but my mama needed her house painted. And she did not want to do it. The old wham bam, thank you, ma'am, you know what I'm saying, come through. You know what I'm saying, I'll scan it, you go on, blah. She didn't want to do that. She did not, but me and my daddy convinced her. but she needed the house painted. So, oh, by the way, my daddy had moved back in with my mama our senior year of high school, which is why I hated my senior year of high school. I not hate it. I just didn't like it. It could have been better because the junior year, bro, it was just me, mama, and John. The senior year, it was me, mama, John, and my daddy. I'm like, wow. But anyway, that's another story for another day. So
it's a lot. Boy.
Man, it's a lot. Yeah, hell yeah. So we convinced her to do it. She came through, got the paint, skedaddle, house is painted. Come in there on my last day in the Home Depot on 135th in Overland Park.
Mm-hmm.
And like, hey, Brian, my manager says, hey, Brian, the general manager wants to see you. I was like, for what? He's like, who cares? It's your last day. Just go see him. I don't know what this shit is, bro. Go in the back. Hey, Brian, how you doing? Last day. You going back up to Northwest. Hey, I'm such and such from the Loss and Prevention Department. I'm like, what's up, man? Let's get to it. The conversation started nice. And it slowly but surely turned me. Well, who is this and this day? And who? Like, it was a picture of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about feeling the lowest of the low. I ain't never felt so low, ever. When that lady pulled that picture out, my mama was on that camera. And so I wrote a report. During me writing a report, this police department said, man, y'all gonna arrest me for this shit, dog? You had the right to remain silent, blah, 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 blah. I get walked out of Home Depot in handcuffs. And by the way, I'm not at the station yet. Yeah. I only, because I'm still in Northwest, and I only applied one time that summer because I wanted an internship, but I didn't hear from nobody or nothing. So that's why I was working at Home Depot. So I do that. I get in the holding cell, and I had to call my daddy, and he came and got me. And I got diversion out of that. So it was like $300. It wasn't a felony theft. It was misdemeanor theft, whatever. So I got diversion. I had to come back home monthly to take P tests and all this stuff, and I'm at Northwest. So I moved back up to Northwest. It was like August 25th. It was literally later that week, that Friday or that weekend. I moved back to Northwest with my roommate Cougar. And the only money I have is from what I had at Home Depot, and they said they had me, they mailed me another check. So I had maybe $1,000 to my name, maybe that's it. And so I gotta pay rent now. I gotta pay gas. This, that, and the third. This is my first time having an apartment. My very first time, 2005, August 05. And so let's fast forward to November. I can't find a job. I'm talking about McDonald's. I'm Walmart. They take felons. Ex-felons, Walmart, I couldn't get none there. Anywhere that I could apply to, I couldn't get anything. So I'm behind on rent. 2 months behind on rent. Eviction notice. I remember Thanksgiving break, my mama came up and got me, and I broke down in her car, and she didn't understand. Well, Brian, what's wrong? She just did not, and I felt the world on my shoulders. This is my first time out there on my own going through some type of adversity, and I didn't have nobody to turn to. But eventually, after all of that, I was able to get back into college, and my advisor at the time, Fred Lamer, my advisor saved my life. Our counselor, Miss Fisher from Northeast, remember her?
I remember the name.
Miss Fisher, she was my counselor. Love you. Thank you, Miss Fisher. She's the one, remember we had the broadcaster club? And then we had the broadcast class actually came a curriculum our senior year of high school because of that club. And so Miss Fisher did all that though, through me and the twins. Remember the light-skinned twins? Yeah. Sierra and Erica. Yeah. So we was doing that, and shouts to them. And I knew what I was gonna do for the rest of my life. But along with Miss Fisher, Fred Lamer, my advisor and one of the broadcast teachers at Northwest, do you want to turn your life around? Do you want to graduate? Well, come with me. I came with him. I followed him. He assigned all my classes and all this stuff for the rest of my college career, and I graduated because of that man. So thank you, Fred Lane. Anybody who went to Northwest in the broadcast department knows who that man is. So I got back into school. Now it's like January 06, February 06, in the spring semester. I'm doing good. My grades is good. I got some money a little bit because of financial aid. Thank y'all for that. My rent is paid. Not, everything is all right now. It's okay. And now I'm applying for an internship at the radio station at 103. I'm trying to get something. And I'm not taking no for an answer. I got a new lease on life now because I just went through all this shit and I need to get on. I need something to do this summer. I don't want to work a job. I want to work towards my career that I think I'm going to have. So I didn't just call or email once. I did it like 5, 6 times. I got an answer back from my man Theo. And interview with them, got my internship cracking. All right, but I know what I'm going to do for the summer. I come home, grades is good. First week at the internship, I remember the first time, the first week, it was Steve Harvey was doing his show live from Kansas City. And we had to fill like 5,000 bags full of promo items of shit for this Steve Harvey event that we was having. It was at Hell Arena, and like thousands of people were there to see him do his radio show live. So that Friday, May 26, 2006, me, my daddy, and John, we sitting there eating Gates and playing Madden like we always do almost every Friday night and every Saturday night. And this particular Friday night, though, my little brother Jared wasn't there, and it was always us two, my older brother, and my daddy. And that was before my sister came along, which is another story in itself, fam. Y'all didn't know I had a sister at Northeast. I didn't know I had a sister at Northeast until 2004. We can get into that in a second. But so May 26, 2006, it was always us four, but Jared was not here. My little brother, he was not here this night. And so midnight strikes and Underground Heat came on. And that was a show, that I used to host, local show that, I still got heartstrings attached to because of this story. Underground Heat was on and I needed to go talk to Beverly. And she was still my girl at the time. I was like, I'm gonna go talk to her and y'all play the game and I'm just gonna go upstairs. He's like, oh, you gonna go upstairs because Jared ain't here, huh? That's what my daddy said to me. I kind of looked at him, like, continue to talk to Beverly, go upstairs. Probably about 30 minutes later, I hear John, my older brother, call my name. Like, he screamed my name. But I thought they was just playing a game. I'm like, they doing what they do. I ain't paying no attention to him. I guess he want me to come see that he beat daddy. Mm-hmm. But a few seconds later, he calls my name again. Brian. I told Beverly, I said, I gotta go. Something going on. So I go downstairs, see my daddy passed out on the couch. And I tried to get him off the mouth. And I knew my daddy wasn't here no more. But I tried to do what I could, call 911. My mama comes downstairs and she's, starting to get upset and she knows what's going on. They come in the house and, they try to resuscitate him. They put him on a breathing machine. They get him in the ambulance. Me, and I had to make the toughest call I ever had to make in my life. I had to call Jared, my little brother. And Jared was 16. I was 20. John was 30. So I had to call Jared and my second mother, who he was still married to her, by the way. So it's technically his wife. You know, my second mother and Jared came, and then I took John to the hospital. And then it was me, John, my second mother, and my brother in the room. And they came and told us the news. Life changing, dog. I knew then, like, well, you know, and for me, it wasn't unexpected, to be honest, because I knew the type of lifestyle my daddy was living. It wasn't good at all, by no means. But anybody who knows me and knew me then knows how important John Michael Brooks was to me. He came to all my games in high school and when I played in Little League and football. He was just, from those 11 years, we just talked about those 11 years that I had with him, monumental. And the day that May 27th, 2006, it rocked my world. But, you know, through God, through faith in God rather than him, because I told you I wasn't listening to God then. I wouldn't, you know, I obeyed him and I trusted him, but that was the only thing that kept me going through all that. So, and that wrapped up the worst year of my life. From that, when I told you I had the real conversation with my daddy from 05 until that May of 06. That year, went to jail, got suspended. It was rough.
The sister.
Hey, look, man, we all got stories that make each other cry. It's just, it's all in this journey that God is leading us on to make us better for later. Because I can't wait to tell my kids these stories. Yeah. I can't wait, bro. Yeah. Because through this, it's going to allow them to know that, bro, you can do whatever. And that's what I've learned through all this, bro. Seriously. I used to think that was just, people can do it. Sure, okay, whatever. I guess I didn't believe I could. But now, and there's way more into this because there's a whole other big factor that I don't feel comfortable expressing right now, but it's definitely in the book. But it's a key element to why I do think that change is, why I do think that change is like it can happen. I used to didn't think it could happen. I just thought like it is what it is. It was what it is, and nothing could change. Kuykendall, what's up, baby? Good to see you, my dog. You know, but I do believe though. I do believe that it can happen, dog. And through that strength, that's what I learned, dog.
Wanted to speak on your sister,
man. So my daddy had always floated around. Like, man, look, man, my pops, he was a playboy, dog.
Bit of a Rolling Stone.
Yeah. I ain't gonna say like, cause he was a damn great father, man. When he applied himself, you feel me? He wasn't there all the time, but he was there when it mattered.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to say he was a roller. I mean, shit, in the 80s though, shit, man, you know, he was
before we say that, we probably need to know the best what Rolling Stone means exactly. That's what I said.
What I'm thinking with Rolling, when I say whenever he lays his head, it's like that sounds like a nigga traveling and he on tour. Getting his, you know what I'm saying? Like yeah. But my pop star, he loved women, dog. Like almost any other man. You know, we done seen this before. Me and my sister are 2 months and 10 days apart, bro.
Damn. She was supposed to be at Northeast with us.
That tell you all you need to know. So look, he had always floated around this idea like, hey, if a little girl come knocking at the door, you know what I'm saying, you might want to let her in. He always said that. Like here and there. He would drop that on us. Like, all right, bro, whatever.
Martin.
It was October 2004. And Man, he called me. I was at Northwest. Your sister found us. What?
Your sister found us.
Like, damn, it's real, huh? And man, I had always dreamt of what a female me would look like, or what, not in a, like, just, I would imagine what my sister look like. Would she look like me? Would she look like my older brother, John? Like, whatever. Not in a, like, freaky kind of way. I'm a man, all right?
Yeah.
So, but just to see what my sister would look like, dog. And the first time she called me, we had an 8-hour conversation. We spoke from like 11 p.m. until like 7 a.m. when I had to go to class that next day. We couldn't get enough of each other. And when I first saw that girl, my sister, Emily Lisa Reed, Clawson now, she got married. Shouts to my dog, Roosevelt. I knew from the shape of her body, I don't have the best shape. I'm kind of oddly shaped. I've always had it. And I guess I get it from my daddy because my sister was shaped the same way. So I knew, wow, I knew from the face, just from when I first saw her, like, that's my sister. And it was near her birthday in 2004. And here's a little fun fact that I love about my family, about us five. My daddy, my brother, older brother, me, my little brother, and my sister, is that we're all born on 8s. My daddy was April 8th. My older brother John, October 8th. I'm August 18th. Jared is February 28th. And my sister, when I found out, I said, one of the first questions I asked, I said, when's your birthday? October 28th. So it's all in order too. And that's how, another reason why God is that it's a bigger play here, bro. We don't have control. I love my sister to death, man. She blessed me with my nephew.
Instantly just connected.
Oh, hell yeah. Instantly.
All the siblings.
Instantly. Her and Jared, my little brother, they was beefing a little bit. They connected, but they was beefing because Jared was the baby. Jared was always, but he wasn't that no more. It was competition now. I wasn't in that. It was between them two though, and Daddy, he needed to catch up with my sister because they wouldn't have a lot of time with each other, And I feel like, dog, looking back now, God kept my daddy alive just a little bit longer for that because I met my sister in like October of 2004, but he died May of 2006. So, people look at the 2000s as a good decade, man. The 2000s for me was rough, bruh. All right. There was a lot of blessings that came out of that. Yeah. And my sister is definitely one of them. And the year after my daddy died, we got my nephew, in 2007. So, and Marcel, I'm so proud of him. Second team all conference, nose guard at Hazelwood Central under the tutelage. My little brother Jared coaching him up, defensive coordinator at Hazelwood Central. It's a bigger picture, dog. What we talked about earlier, it is a bigger picture no matter where you are in life, dog. No matter where you are. Believe, dog, in 5 years and 10 years, your shit could change.
Yes, sir.
You could change.
I can change.
That's what I learned through all this.
For some reason, I can't get Martin out of my head. Like when little cuz from, I forget his name, from Moesha came to the door.
Terry Martin, I just want to go to Arizona.
I was just thinking about that when if your sister would have came with the.
Sorry, I lied to you, Martin. I need to go to Arizona.
But anyway, before we close out, I want to talk about commitment because you spoke on commitment with your wife, but you spoke on before you was committed. That little time before you was committed.
Yeah.
Now you're committed. How long y'all been married?
Just 1 year. 1 year and a few days now. What's today? July 1st. 1 year and 5 days.
So let's give her some shine because I want to know what took you from not being committed to being committed as a person.
All right, man. So The story of me and my wife. It was December 2018. And she walked into the studio as she was a new hire. She was working on the sales team. And Krista, who was our national sales rep, she was like, "Hey, just want to introduce our new salesperson to the staff. This is Naomi." And like, man, look, I'm being real, dog, and how my journey has been. And I don't mean to sound like it's magical or nothing like that, but I'm telling y'all the honest to God truth. I knew who my wife was when I saw her, and it was her. Mm-hmm. It was Naomi. Like, I already knew from the way that she always dreamt of how my wife would look. I'm a very visual person, extremely visual. So I always, when I dream and I think of things, I see it. And I always saw my wife. She had that blonde. I knew she was going to have blonde hair. She was going to be like Mary J. Blige. Not that I think that Mary J. Blige is the baddest. Like, she's beautiful.
She up there.
But I love black women with blonde hair, like specific to my wife. Black woman, blonde hair, just
my wife's
beautiful.
Rocking the blonde right now.
Yes, sir. Don't they look good, boy? Look, boy, sock them up with biscuit, boy.
To do it.
Short hair, long hair, whatever. They rocking that blonde. It look good on them. But yeah, man. It's like, have you seen Malcolm X? When last time you seen Malcolm X?
Probably like 3 years ago. You talking about the one with Denzel, right?
Yeah, hell yeah, the only one. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like, you gotta be a certain height, half your age, +7. Like, I'd always thought of my wife. Like, I just knew I knew she was gonna be around my age. She couldn't be super young. I knew she might have been older because all the girlfriends I had were older than me. But just by like a few months or something like that. I've always dated women around my age range. But, Naomi's 2 years younger than me. And, blonde hair, beautiful complexion, beautiful face. She is literally my dream woman, for real. Seriously, the woman who I dreamt about. And I knew she was going to be my wife. I knew it from the day that I first saw her. She had on the color blue. And the color blue, like, that just, if you look at my wedding pictures, a lot of it is blue. That's my grandmother's favorite color, and that's her grandmother's favorite color. My personal favorite color is red. I love blue, though. I love blue. I wouldn't have my wedding blue if I didn't. But so we got to know each other a little bit during that time when she worked there, and we going in 2019 now, and that's when we starting to date in 2019. And, we kind of called it off a little bit because I just would I love referencing movies and stuff. But you remember when Trey was like, "I wasn't ready for all that yet." You remember that? That was definitely me. I wasn't ready for what she had to offer, which is just a multitude of love, dog. So the pandemic happened. Told you, dog, before the pandemic, after the pandemic, she had to move back to Cincinnati. And I remember I came to see her before she moved back. She had asked me to come through, and I was kind of hesitant. I was like, for what? Let's go. But I came, I saw her, and it was very important because that's where I met my mother-in-law, my future mother-in-law. So I'm glad I did that. She moved. We kind of stayed in touch. She was just hitting me up. I wasn't really feeling nothing. I didn't want to talk to nobody in 2020. Like, after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, we went into the pandemic. I was by myself. It was me and God. And he was trying to tell me something that whole time. That whole time we was locked down. I wasn't locked down, though. I was still going to work every day. But that whole time, I look back on, again, I'm very odd because I look at 2001 as a year of transition and a year that I liked, and we saw 9/11 happen. I look at 2020 as a year of transition and a year that I absolutely loved. I love lockdown, bro. I'm an introvert. I loved it. I love the fact that I could just chill. We could just chill at home and just chill, bro. I loved 2020 for the most part because it was some bad things that happened. So I don't want to make light of none of that because I do realize it was a dark side. Before I'm going to look back on my life though as a lot of good things happening for me. But we kind of stayed away from each other, and then I told you about going into my mother's house, cleaning up, finding that letter, and then all of that led me back to Naomi because she hit me. And remember, I keep mentioning this number 26, number 8, number 26. What number did I wear in high school? You remember?
No.
71. All of them equal 8. 8 is very important. So 8, the number 8 kind of guides me, dog. It does. So she hit me on this. When did Kobe die? January 26th. I got married June 26th. Naomi called me December 26, 2020. And she said, when you gonna stop playing to be my baby daddy? But I knew her saying that was, nigga, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have been a fool to say no. A dumb fool, because that was God through her, in my opinion. This is just me saying, Brian, we need to go. We need to. What else? What did Mitch say on on Paid in Full? I love the game.
Oh yeah.
Like, but look, man, I wasn't no player or none of that. I wasn't none of that, dog. But I knew at that time I had to go. I had to give my wife, and something reminds me almost every single day of yes, God created y'all to be together. It's a special feeling, dog.
Yeah, that's how I feel about my wife.
Yep.
Oh, been grooming
it's
so
beautiful.
Much.
Keep that
so much. I know I said I was going to close out on, but I have to mention this outside of the radio because I feel like our relationship transcends the radio. What does Shay Moore mean to you? Oh man, we can do a week's worth of a podcast on that. But Shay Moore means everything. She means a lot. She taught me so much. Y'all don't understand, dog. That lady taught me. I always had some type of work ethic, but Shay taught me how to get that work ethic cracking and let it produce for your show. Interview skills. My interview skills have always been, it was all right. Shay took it to another level, whole nother level. Maturity, on and off the microphone. I told you about the breastfeeding incident that I spoke about, and it was a real immature comment. I didn't know nothing about it. Shouts to all the ladies that breastfeed. Please continue to do it wherever you want to do it. But just it's those things, dog. And honestly, dog, Shay had a finger in leading me to my wife too. Like she played I was with that girl every single day for 8 years, or 7 years. And during the pandemic too, we was together. We was going to work every day. And so, man, look, I got nothing but love for her. She know that. We talk. And what all this is going to do is going to benefit the people of Kansas City. And that's what all that matters to me. And I know it matters to her too. But she's going to have her information and what she does. And you already know how I represent the town. I'm going to have what we need always. Sports, whether it's, violence awareness, mental health, just Kansas City pride. That's what I'm about. And she gonna bring some of that too. So I love that. I wouldn't be who I am, not that I'm anybody special, but I wouldn't be what I'm doing if it wasn't for Shay at all. Love her for that. You are someone special. Very special. Nice. Yeah, you can do all that you want to. I said what I said. You're gonna have to keep that, whatever.
I accept that.
Yeah,
I appreciate you.
I definitely appreciate what you had to. You know the crazy thing about you being on the radio? And shout out to Sprinkle Some Salt, because I always want to give credit.
That's my dog.
Bump Jonas.
Yeah, man.
I didn't remember until watching that live about the broadcasting thing we had in Northeast. Just like I didn't remember about the paper thing until you brought it up. And the crazy thing is, because I was thinking because I remember first hearing you on the radio, not knowing it was you. I'm like, man, this voice sounds familiar, bro. And then I started saying to myself, after hearing it more, because I used to listen to High 103 religiously. And I'm like, That shit sound like Brian. Not even really listening to
Sound
what
like
names
Penguin.
being said. Huh?
It sound like Penguin.
That's what I was saying. I didn't know if that was because I know my boy Skittles get offended by Skittles now. So I'm like, but I was messing with you on this live saying Penguin. But I think it was Oscar, and I was like,
my brother. I love that dude.
And I think Oscar told me, nigga, that is Brian.
Yeah.
And then we seen you at the. I didn't say nothing to you because to me, you on the radio. I'm thinking,
man,
these people.
Come on, Dominique. Come on, man.
We seen you at when they was doing the N1 tournament.
Oh my God, that was like 06. That was when I was interning. Yeah. I remember that. E40 was there. He performed at the halftime.
Renzi was playing against Hot Sauce.
That was outside Kemper.
I was like, damn, you over there. I ain't gonna go say nothing though, because you probably don't remember. I'm always like that though. I always be thinking like, and a little bit of, because like I talked about being an introvert and being shy and stuff. And so one thing about me, that temper in me, it comes from embarrassment. And if I feel like somebody's shunning me, it's a whole nother. So I said, I'm gonna just stay over here or whatever. You probably, and the whole thing, you probably not shunning me. You just don't remember a nigga. You know what I'm saying? But now I shunned you. No, I said I never.
Oh boy, I was about to say.
But no.
I was like, no, man. Look,
you ain't never shunned me, bro.
I've always wondered what people from Northeast think of that, like, because I always try to represent our high school. Because I loved our high school. I did. I know a lot of people didn't.
Nobody say. I always say I love Northeast. I love Northeast women. I love, like they talk about Kansas City women, like they used to talk about Northeast.
Man,
Northeast, Kansas City women. I love Kansas City women. I love my city. Northeast. I woke up every day looking forward to go to that.
Real. It was fun. I liked
messing with people in the hallway. To Boozy and them, just like doing what they do to y'all, like nigga. I was an introvert, but I sat back and watched y'all and enjoyed myself. Like I remember one time we used to call him Fat Antoine there, Art Money Marlowe,
my brother.
Just out of nowhere, we was quiet in Mr. Hollingsworth class.
This sound like the geometry class.
Yeah, the whole class was quiet, just doing their work, what we had to do. It ain't gonna be funny to y'all, but we quiet, and he just yells out, "Blueberry muffins!"
Who said that?
That Antoine.
No,
bro.
He didn't.
Just like that. That always stuck with me. And I'm like, bro,
he got a little squeak to his voice too if he go up high, so I can hear him saying that.
I'm like, bro, why would you do that? Like while we're being quiet, or just like this is little stuff. I remember just doing my work and looking up, and Wally just staring at me.
Oh yeah,
just staring at me. Just I'm doing my. I'm like, nigga, why you? Or you wearing your double headband, your wrist?
Oh man, I was on that.
He said he didn't wear.
I ain't wear no damn band.
I
didn't do that.
You and Frank was in a fight for who was the best representation.
Me and Frank the Clue.
Northeast was the shit. I don't give a fuck.
I was so into music. Like I just bought that computer. My mama just bought a computer for us. So I was a kid in a candy store downloading all this music. So I'm like, man, I'm like Nelly was just. I just loved Nelly at that time. I did, man. I listen to I can't listen to Rich the Factor and then Nelly next. I can't do that. That not you saying that. No one said that like the attitude back then. Some dudes, they. I remember I had a dude I was working at Sun First. He was like,
beef with you, by the way.
Who do?
I got one. But while we on the Nelly,
I'm waiting on that.
Go ahead.
But he was like, yeah, E40 make way more money than Nelly. Like, okay, man, I don't care. I like number one. That's my song. So that was my favorite Nelly song back then. Yeah, Leezy Hawk. Shouts to him. Yeah, that's my dog. Eric Anderson. That dude, he is a character. He always has been one. Love that dude.
To see y'all still connected, man.
That's my brother.
I feel like
beef. I didn't know this beef.
And it's not about Nelly, but it's that era. I just feel like I feel like you was one of them ones on the 50 Cent side, and I didn't like that.
Hell yeah. I hated Ja Rule.
Listen, man.
I could not stand him back then.
Why you did you hate Ja Rule because of 50?
No.
Or did you? Okay, I ain't got no beef with you.
Like Always on Time, I hated that song. 50 wasn't even out yet. That came out like December '01. I could not stand none of his music, dog. I hated it. So when 50, I was so glad 50 was doing that shit. Plus, nigga, that was
You might put it on me.
No, I don't like I don't like his voice. I don't like look, and I respect what he's done in his catalog. He got an amazing catalog.
That's my guy.
But he gets no play in a ride. Now there is a couple songs. You like that little LA twang I put on there?
Don't.
Exactly. Like I feel the rain is calling my. I love that song. The Pledge. I like that song. There's no need.
What about Rainy
with Nas? Huh?
What about
No.
That's your girl,
See, it's
though.
them songs that I don't like.
You like the B-sides.
For the most
Or
part.
the B-sides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with him, I definitely didn't like his popular shit. Like, what was the other song? The one with Bobby Brown? That was my shit.
That was a popular.
Yeah, it's because Bobby Brown, because Bobby,
And
Bobby,
that
was exactly that was prime Bobby Brown jaw era.
Okay, you said Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby Brown jaw. And there's one more. Oh, my lady say yeah. That song, yeah, I like that one too.
Okay, cool.
That's it. That's all the Ja Rule songs you're gonna get from me.
I ain't got no beef with you. Dude.
All right.
The only beef was I'm fine with nobody not liking Ja Rule because I like 50 and Ja Rule. But when you leaving because this nigga made you leave,
man,
because he a singer, 50 singing.
He took his style and ran.
Doing it pretty damn good too. But I just didn't understand that.
Do you remember how hot the album was our senior year of high school? Get Rich or Die Trying? Bro, in the club, it was two songs that I can't listen to right now. That if you turn them shits on, I will leave. In the club.
I still love it.
And the damn Yang Yang Twins. Get Low. Bro, they played that shit at nauseum in 2003. Mm-hmm. Both of them songs. Oh, and 21 Questions. I don't want to hear that shit either. I definitely don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
Got you.
I don't want to hear that shit.
You just talking about in the clubs they was playing it? Cause
let it be your ringtone.
You wasn't in the club.
I'm leaving.
Because Many Man was getting played like crazy.
I love me. Me and Antoine used to freestyle over there. Many men wish bankruptcy on me.
Come on. Them niggas were
Patiently waiting. Patiently waiting. That was my favorite song about Get Rich or Die Trying. I feel
yeah.
And I ain't a big Eminem fan, but he went off on that song.
Went off on a lot of shit. But in closing, of course, I asked you to pray us out, but before, the name of this platform is Indelibly Marked, and I always ask somebody to leave us marked out with some words, not in LA sense of marking us out, but leave the people marked out with some words.
And this has been kind of my message whenever I talk, is that wherever you are in your life, because it's a long journey. Wherever you are, man, just know that God got you, man. You got to know that, and you have to live like you know that. So when you're feeling scared to take a risk on something that you know can work in your mind, and you know it feels good in your spirit and in your heart, do it. Because your life can change. And I think that's the thing that I want to impart to our young Black people, is that if you in the hood, if you on the 12th Street, 39th Street, East Side, North Side, wherever, that's not the end of the road, bro. That's not the only thing that you need to be exposed to. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Just because you see all this street shit don't mean that's what you're going to be around in 10 years. There's more to it than this. And if they live long enough, they will know that, and they will grow and mature into that. But we got to walk with that mindset, knowing that, number one, God is going to make a way, and that B, I ain't going to be where I'm at right now. Let's just try to get 1% better every single day. Add a tool to your tool belt every day. Just learn one thing that will help you advance yourself every single day. And God is going to take the rest. Because if you're praying to God, but you ain't moving, nothing going to happen. But if you moving and praying and following God, He can make mountains move, baby.
Pray us out.
Yes, sir. Bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you humble. We come to you thankful. We come to you asking for your protection, your continued protection, to keep your hands over us. And please, God, keep your hands over this city as we need your guidance now more than ever. Please change the hearts of some men who might have vengeance or violence on their mind from some petty beef that doesn't even matter anymore, but they don't know that yet. But we need you, God, to instill in their hearts and minds to don't be afraid to turn the other cheek, to go the other way, to know that everything can be just fine in a year or two, to let things smooth over, to let tempers boil down so that we can see the bigger picture, so that our fathers cannot be in the penitentiary but be in the streets trying to help our children out, trying to lead the way. Because right now, a lot of our children are just walking around like zombies with no guidance. And that's what we need you, God.
Yes, Lord.
So please, God, keep your hands over us, this city. We pray for your protection. We pray for your spirit. We pray for you to help us see the future. We pray for you to help us heal. And we pray for everybody in Kansas City to please go out and have a peaceful mind. As for all these blessings we ask in the blood of Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Another thing real quick. I often think about like people all the time. I'm always thinking about, damn, I wonder what they're doing right now. I wonder, like, especially from Northeast.
Oh, yeah.
The reunion coming up soon. And radio aside, I am so glad to be sharing this space with you, sharing this air
I
with
feel
you.
the same way.
To hear these stories and stuff. I'm glad that you're still alive, because it's a few people from our class or from our school that I've seen out here. And you talk about those zombies. It hurts me. It hurts my feelings. And I'll talk to you about her name after we get off of here. But it hurts me so bad. And I'm so glad that you still here, bro. And I'm glad that you're doing it. And I don't just say this, I truly believe, whether you see it physically or not, your star in the Kansas City, what is it called? Walk of Fame or Walk of whatever it is called, is there. And you already submitted your name and thing. I don't care if nobody else say it. I'm telling you right now, I appreciate you. I love you dearly.
Always love. I appreciate it too. You know, because like growing up here, like Tony G and Sean Tyler, like they're the standard. Julie Jones too, just the standard. And like in my era, before then it was Chris King and it was Del Rice, you know. But I never thought it, like I looked at those guys as superstars. I am just a whole Kansas City kid all the way through and through. And so for y'all, like, cause this isn't the first time somebody said that, and I'm just super thankful and I'm shocked that y'all put me in that category, bro. I really am. But I have done a lot of work, and people tell me like they grew up with me. I'm like, what? I ain't got no kids yet. But I'm everything that I've ever done for that through 103 and through off air is all for the betterment of this city, dog. That's all. Like anybody who knew me in high school, like when Tech Angelic came out, I was so excited just to have somebody just out there. And Tech wasn't even where he is now, but just to have something to represent me, to represent this city, because the city is so great. It's so many great things, no matter what people say. There were so many great things that were hidden. Now people seeing it. Now you're seeing how great this city is. But that's all. I wanted to be the representative of Kansas City for people listening to our radio station. And I am honored and blessed. And I hope I keep that bar high where it is. That's my goal. And to make it better. Make it better for the next one.
Yeah. The goal is to leave a lasting imprint on their minds and their hearts. We pray you've been indelibly marked.
Appreciate you, dog.